A word of caution and encouragement, though. Life is full of ups and downs, highs and lows, and that's true whether you're a believer or not. But what I found as a believer is that the highs for me happen when I've been called by God and I respond to that call and I'm in the midst of following that and I know I'm in God's will. That is a high point in my life because I know I'm right where I'm supposed to be. But there is also points in our life where God feels distant and where we question, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? I feel distance from God. I don't know what God wants from me. What does he want me to do? I just don't know what I should do. And that's where I want to give a word of encouragement for those believers who have been believers for so long that are in, it might be considered a dry stage of your faith, is to be encouraged. One of the books that I'm reading right now is The Cost of Discipleship by Dietrich Bonhoeffer. It's an awesome read. And chapter 2, Bonhoeffer spends the entire chapter talking about an awesome concept. What he says is, only he who believes is obedient, and only he who is obedient believes. Let me say that again. He takes the entire chapter to unpack it, but only he who believes is obedient. So as you look at being obedient to God's word, those who believe in God and believe he is who he says he is in this book, well, they follow and they are obedient to what he calls. That's the easy part. That's an understandable part. It's like, yes, I believe this, so I'm going to follow that. But then the opposite side of this spectrum, and I love that he says this, is only he who is obedient believes. It's this idea that your faith is seen in action. So obedience to God's word is evidence of belief. And Bonhoeffer talks about the fact that those that are in a point of struggling with God, it's quite simple, is that are they being obedient? That's what it comes down to, is are you being obedient to God's word? And if you don't know what God is calling you to do, well, then be obedient. It goes back to the I don't want to say battle, but the argument of Paul versus James of salvation, justification by faith versus justification by works. Galatians 2:16 and Romans 3:28, Paul says we are justified by faith, not by works. But then James, in James 2:24, he says a person is justified by works and not by faith alone. And then a little bit further on in verse 26 of chapter 2 of James, he says faith without works is dead. What Bonhoeffer is getting at, as well as what James and Paul are getting at, are all true. We are justified by faith alone. It is he who believes who is obedient. We must have faith. But at times at which our faith is being tested and we feel distance from God, that is the time at which we must be obedient and faith will follow. As Bonhoeffer is saying, only he who is obedient believes. If you want to grow your faith and your belief, be obedient. Follow this, and faith and belief will follow with it. What James is talking about is he's saying that if you truly believe and have faith, it will be seen in the works. So in this argument of is it faith or is it works, it's faith that works. We're not supposed to aim after the works. Pursue God with all of your heart, and things will start to happen out of your will that will respond in those works. So as we talk about responding to the call, and I know I've gone down on this tangent much further than I wanted to or longer than I wanted to, answer the call. Whatever it is, be like Isaiah. Here I am, send me. Even if it's small or if it's large, That is the exciting, that is the awesome answer, because you know if you just simply say, here I am, God is going to empower you, enable you, grow you to respond to that call. And then after you've done that, or if you just feel in this dry phase, well, God hasn't called me. I'm here. I'm raising my hand. I'm saying, choose me, Lord, choose me, Lord, choose me, Lord. Well, that's where you need to just stay and be still and know that He is God, and simply stay in that state of being obedient to Him. Follow His word on a day-by-day basis, and He will grow you, and you'll receive that call, because every single person receives it. And now, again, it might not be that go sell everything and be a missionary in Uruguay or wherever, but He will call you. Guaranteed.